you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Brusubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
Hello and welcome to the brunch once again. Of course, I am Sanya Brito and I am delighted to introduce the usual panel. Of course, Mr. Lamin Kam and Mr. Fakida. Hopefully, Nima will be joining us later. As per usual, we will start with our newspaper review. So, Mr. Cham, take it away.
Thank you very much, Sergio, and welcome to our viewers across the world. Well, we have a lot in the newspaper review today because of a lot of things happened actually during the past and the review. One of them is the trials, the court-martial trials. 9 soldiers were sentenced to 9, or is it 7 sentenced to 9 years, 2 generals acquitted. Also, the leader of the newest party in the country, Gambia Action Party, Mr. Bacheli, was in the news, and his views stirred a lot of controversy. Central Bank introduced new notes, no portraits of former President Jammeh or Jawara, but people criticized that whether it should be human beings or birds whose portraits should be in the notes. Then we have once again, unfortunately, the caste system crisis in URR. All those are topics we cover. But let's start with the trials of the soldiers. 9 court-martial. The last time we had a court-martial in the Gambia was when?
Was in 2006.
Was it 2006 in the aftermath? No.
In the aftermath.
Was it not 2009? When Langtomba and others, was it's not a court-martial?
2006 was Ndurcha.
Yes, Ndurcha.
2009 was that.
Yes, so...
That was the last time.
So we had one at a time when nobody thought about it. Certain soldiers who are alleged to have created a WhatsApp group during which, through which they were conspiring to overthrow the government, according to the charge sheet. Now, about over half a dozen of them have been sentenced to 9 years. From your perspective, the two of you, if they are guilty as charged, is this a lenient judgment, or perhaps do you even think that they will serve these 9 years? In the spirit of the new Gambia, some people were quick to say these people will eventually get pardoned.
Well, I was there, and I followed the process. I covered the court-martial, and I followed the process. Both of us, some of us were expecting that these people would get life. Personally, me, I expected the least they could get would be life. Some thought maybe they could get death penalty, which we know will be commuted to life. Because currently all the people on death row have had their sentences commuted to life, and perhaps even if these people were given death, theirs would also be commuted to life. But like I said, treason in the Gambia, this is the most lenient sentence treason has ever got in this country. Okay. A conviction for treason has never got 9 years in this country. Not that I know. All the cases I've covered, especially involving coup.
Yes, like in this case.
Yes, treason. You're convicted with treason. Some of them also, most of them convicted with mutiny, concealment of treason, and in 8 other charges, and 7 other charges. Remember, there are 9 counts.
Yes.
So, it's a bit of a lenient sentence. But of course, also 9 years is too long a time for anybody to spend in jail and think twice about or second guess your action or rethink your actions. So, you can also understand that this is also a reasonable sentence, but within the context of our history, this is a very lenient sentence.
You were in the courtroom. There was reports of people bursting into tears, was quite emotional. But interestingly, even those who were sentenced, one of them was quoted as saying they are very happy. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I've heard it. I was there. I refused to. I made
Are
it.
they happy about lenient sentence they've got, or what do you think they were happy
I
about?
refused.
Or they are saying they didn't regret whatever it is that they were accused
not been
of doing.
remorseful.
That is the point, and that is why I made it a point as a journalist not to bring that up. I made it a point to ignore it because
you didn't find it strange or interesting.
I didn't find it strange, and I didn't find it worthy to be reported because this is a very responsible thing to do when you've cost a family. I mean, all those people going to jail have had their daughters, their brothers, their parents wailing, crying in the court. And at least I am not the judge, but based on the decision of the court, it has been confirmed that they actually planned a coup.
Yes,
and they plan to go ahead with it.
Yeah.
Now that means that pain that family endured, you brought it on them. You did. They are crying because you are going to jail.
Oh, yes. But
if you are saying,
but you are still
happy,
defiant.
Suggesting that a responsible thing to do.
So they're still defiant. If the prisoner is still defiant and said, "I am happy,"
yeah, but that is what is irresponsible. If you are happy, the people who
your family, because of your decision,
are
not happy.
People are crying because of your decision.
And you still said you are defiant and said, "I am happy about it."
And you are a responsible father, a responsible brother. That's why I made a
so
point.
So what is
not
saying that she's not suggesting that they are not remorseful. They are not. They would, if they have another chance to stage a coup, they will do it again.
Well, that may be the thing, but then again, my second
he's just
point
trying to
also
show
is
unnecessary bravado while he's.
My second guess was that perhaps they were misunderstood, because I heard Yahya said, "Alhamdulillah." Look, this is the natural reaction of any Muslim, whether you are confronted with good or bad news. Alhamdulillah. But the point I'm trying to make is that you cannot be happy for going to jail. Yeah. Everybody knows that doesn't make sense.
Would it be because he expected a death penalty and now he got a 9 years?
No, I think it would be that he's trying to portray a defiant mood.
Defiant.
But we all know he is not defiant. We know that everybody breaks. Yeah. Now, everyone breaks.
What do you make of commentators that these people will eventually be pardoned? In fact, I think in some quarters in the media there was an editorial or commentary which suggested that let's see whether the president will continue the spirit of national reconciliation by pardoning them.
But pardoning them is certainly not in the spirit. You see, the problem in this country right now is that people think that crime should not be punished in the spirit of so-called national reconciliation. Yes. Look, the point is certain people who hurt certain people should go to jail. Those people should not. I even heard the president talk in an interview with an online platform, Paradise TV, that we would look at the Janneh Commission in the light of national reconciliation. Such things must not be confused.
That is
people
where the problem
who commit violations should pay for it. Yeah. Because there are people who they hurt. You, the president, sitting up there.
You mean the president said that?
He said that.
So does this lend credence to critics who said that this Janneh Commission will not go anywhere because President,
there's a possibility in that. But then again, coming back to the soldiers, the point is, I'm not a
whether the president said that or not, it didn't go anywhere, first of all.
Yeah. And I am not a big fan of people being jailed for life or to rot in jail. I think if Yahya and others have shown remorse and they have shown that this was a mistake, if at all, because the court has convicted them. So we can at least assume that we can safely say that the court was right. They were guilty. because that's what all responsible citizens do. I mean, you believe in the system until when you can prove otherwise. So if they are pardoned because they've shown remorse, I definitely will not have a problem.
But they haven't shown that anyway.
Well, they've not shown that so far. But if they've shown that and we've had beliefs that they have changed, I think they can be pardoned. These are people who belong to Gambian families. They have children, they have parents who would want to have them back at home. So they can be pardoned.
But then they can be sacked from the army.
Absolutely too. Those options are open. If they've not shown remorse and it's evidence that they still pose risk to the society, because I have never been able to conceive what these people intended to achieve. I've never been able to get my head around it.
Well, it was said that they wanted to cause as much dissent, as much dissent among the soldiers and put up a wide conspiracy where soldiers will defy commanders and create what's supposed to overthrow the government by even attacking. Allegedly even to attack economics in
But the problem...
What are you suggesting is, would they even have been able to do it?
Look, the problem is, does the Gambia have, even the entire, let's even say the entire Gambian army agrees to this. Does the Gambia have the capacity to fight the whole region?
Well, that was
because if you intend to stage a coup right now in the Gambia, you're going to confront the regional forces.
Absolutely.
And you're going to kill them. In some way, because they're going to resist it. But they're going to resist it in some ways. You're going to kill them. You endure the wrath of the region.
Maybe they calculated that the regional force may not be involved in domestic matters. That's maybe their calculation.
The regional forces involved in domestic matters in a larger army like Mali.
Jawara wouldn't have. Jammeh wouldn't have gone. If
Mali. They intervene in Mali. They intervene in Guinea Conakry. They intervene in Bissau. All those, with the exception of Bissau, all these two have a larger, more sophisticated army than we do.
So it means the soldiers were just daydreaming and planning.
That's my point.
They were.
You can only cause confusion. You kill people. You cause mutiny. Can you sustain? Can you overtake? Become president and sustain it in this day and age?
No, perhaps
it's impossible.
Yes, even if it's left to the individual and civilians themselves, they will resist any coup now. Now, what about the two who were acquitted? Yes, Generals Umpa and Tamba. The court said they didn't go to Equatorial Guinea on their own accord. They were forced to go there.
Yeah, from the look of things, I do not know General Tamba, and I have not had any evidence or Umpa. Our reputation of these guys are not so kind, but let's also not forget that there is so far no evidence implicating Umpa or General Tamba in any killing or any human rights violation. The last time I met General Umpa was at the IEC when Jammeh was coming to
submit his papers.
Yeah, his nomination papers. And my impression of him was not so kind. But the point is, it's not us who matters. I have heard these are professional soldiers. There are people who know them who told me this. And even Azumana Tamba I've heard is a professional soldier. I mean, there are people who know them who told us this. Let's not also forget that sometimes because of our impression of Jammeh, we tend to give orders associated with him the same color as we give him.
Exactly, yeah.
And sometimes this can be misconstrued. Sometimes this is not true. Sometimes
as far as you are concerned, since they have not been accused of being a jungler, they have not participated in any known atrocities so far.
And they deserve a fair trial as well as Gambians and as
But who forced them to go to Equatorial Guinea?
Well, they said their names were put on a list by General Solbaji.
General Solbaji, who I think was a superior.
Yeah, well, he may not be superior in ranks,
in terms of command.
But because of his proximity to Jammeh.
Also in terms of command, General Solbaji was the commander of the State Guard Battalion.
Yeah, but then these people are generals in the army. Anyway, no, Tamba was command actually.
Okay.
Member was commander. So General Baji was just a general with an open check. He can, he overpowers everybody except
open
Jammeh.
check and also
He has uncontrollable influence.
Absolutely. So if such a superior comes to you with a list and to say that you are authorized to be on the trip to take the former president to Equatorial Guinea, certainly it's, what are you going to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
And also to confirm desertion.
Yes.
You have to confirm that you have to, there are a lot of things to look at. And among them would be that leaving without intent to return.
Yes.
You understand?
And these people have shown the regret.
And these people, not only have they, but even before they leave, they, in fact, before Umpa left, we've heard in the court that he has confided in a junior that keep the guard. I'm coming.
So
you understand? So that means that shows an intent to return.
In fact, the fact that they...
And all of them had actually at some point confided in people that they are coming.
They will come.
And so when they also left, there was an evidence of them contacting people behind, back home, that they will be coming.
Yeah.
So at least there is an evidence that they have the intent to return.
To come back.
So the court martial could not prove.
But then what about commentaries that these people all the same are soldiers who were very close to the man perceived to be behind all the
and some people saying going as far as they shouldn't be reinstated in the army.
And people believe that would they be still professional when they are reintegrated into the army? Which is likely to be the case.
The point is, you see, the job of a soldier, until we understand soldiers,
I understand.
The job of a soldier is to be loyal to the commander-in-chief and to the state. Now, this is a very fine line because often when we say...
But that does not include carrying out unlawful orders.
Yes. Often when we say being loyal to the commander-in-chief, everybody would say, no, be loyal to the state.
Yeah.
But the point is there is always an assumption that the commander-in-chief is going to act not only in good faith, but in the interest of the state.
Yes, and according to law.
Now, that is why
a
soldier also...
But often soldiers don't defy Commander-in-Chief, even if the acts are unlawful.
That is what I am saying. But in most cases, I am saying, often you hear Gambians say, oh no, you need to be loyal to the state. But a soldier, it's also your responsibility to assume that the commander-in-chief acts not just in good faith, but also in the interest of the state.
Yeah, but we have seen that having track records of soldiers on the Jammeh. Nobody there defied Jammeh.
Yes.
Soldiers were used to kill people. Soldiers were used to commit atrocities.
Yes.
And those were unlawful commands, and they knew they were unlawful, but they carried out.
Yeah, but in some cases, I mean, of course, we also have cases of soldiers defying that. Yeah. We have few cases of soldiers not killing.
Maybe it didn't involve them.
But we have a soldier who had been tasked to rig petrol stations and blow them and take the Gambia to war.
He said
he declined to do it.
That was the very last moment, perhaps, when he...
Yeah, but at least he's a soldier.
Okay.
So we have incredible number of soldiers.
That's a rare...
Because they have, I mean, Gambian soldiers, we have some good soldiers, amazingly good soldiers. We have some amazingly terrible ones. I mean, like the ones who feel that some people should be president forever. We have some stupid ones. But you have an incredible good number of soldiers. You wouldn't believe, if you had an interaction, if you go to the army barracks, and I was in Yundum barracks, Fajara barracks at some time, and they took me to their reception. I was actually going to write about it, but because I found them, I was talking to them, and they didn't know I'm a journalist, of course. And they were analyzing international affairs issues. Madura was in it. So you have some very smart people in the army, some very intelligent people. So it's not just entirely bunch of fufu heads that are being used by Jammeh to kill people.
Anyway, so much about soldiers. I think we're going to have more on them later in the program.
Yeah.
But new banknotes. Central Bank will be circulating new banknotes in 3 months' time. It no longer has features of head of state, but people are critical that instead of human beings, it's birds you've seen on the photographs. Are they short-sighted in eliminating portraits of people? May not be politicians or former heads of state, but for example, legendary Gambian legendary marabouts, Islamic scholars or Christians, or perhaps, something that depicts our culture. And that doesn't necessarily means that, it is just given consideration to one thing or the other. But birds, some people said, what is so special about birds? Why can't we put somebody's portrait, or a Gambian woman, or a Gambian child, or Gambian something? What do you make of that?
So if you ask me personally, I have few problems with the new banknote. It's nice. It's cool to have birds there. I mean, of course, when they were also putting birds there, Gambia has over 400 species of birds, I think. So when they were putting birds there, perhaps they were also thinking that, oh, this is our national characteristics. This is one of the reasons why even tourists come here sometimes.
That's right, yeah.
Bird watching.
I think that, yes, I think that's what they were. So they acted in good faith. But the problem is that this is a country that was built by people. Let's not forget, every country is built by people. And they celebrate them in their national currency. National currency is just not, it's a piece of history.
Yeah, but it should also be, an avenue to depict unity of the people.
Yes.
So people are arguing that at least you can have a character that unifies the whole country. People would appreciate. Now, if you put politicians, then not everybody appreciates politicians.
It doesn't matter. The politicians, people like Sadao that serve this country, whether people respect that or not.
Yeah, well, that is
people like E.F. Small serve this country, whether anybody agrees with that or not.
Fine.
People like Emi Jallo serve this country, whether anybody agrees with that or not. So it doesn't matter who agrees or who says what. So these are people who serve this country with distinction.
The argument, I'm sure, from the central bank was, okay, once you maintain Sadao, okay, there will be people who will say, well, this is a vendetta against Jammeh, that's why they remove him.
But how do you mean this
and
is vendetta? This is the father of the nation. This is the guy who led the country.
In America, George Washington stayed on the, I think it's still there, I'm not sure, it's still in the dollar bills for a long time.
All
George
the American
and great
absolutely founding fathers are on the currency. They just put Rosa Parks on their currency, the $20 bill.
Yeah.
So
and recently, Harriet Tubman was also supposed to be there. So only that Donald Trump
was it a short sight in the decision by the central bank to eliminate portraits of, personalities, Gambian personalities?
No, I wouldn't. Sometimes people act in good faith. I think because. As they say, even judges in courts are a subject of society, so sometimes they are influenced by the public opinion. So I think also the central bank acted in good faith, but they also go with the flow because people were saying, "Oh, no politician in the currency." So they also go with the flow. But also imagine if we give a legislative effect to these currencies. Say for instance, central bank put some democratization into this process. Selected a number of symbols, not just symbols, but not just consult people, but go to the National Assembly to give this process a legislative effect. To say these persons and these persons are going to be on X, Y, and Z on our currency notes, this, that, and that, and that. And the National Assembly approves that. Think about it. You cannot just come and change that.
Even if that includes maintaining Jammeh's portrait there.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter, but what matters is that the National Assembly approves it and gives it a legislative effect so that anybody who comes and wants to alter the currency again will have to go to the National Assembly. Now, those are things we can do. Like anybody can come.
If you don't have any problem in maintaining Jawara's portrait or putting back Jawara's portrait, why would you have problem in moving Jammeh's portrait there?
The problem is, Lamin.
Jawara's portrait said first president of the Gambia. Jammeh's this thing would have said second. No, he just said president of the Republic.
The problem is not. I think sometimes in this country we think
was the whole exercise in rhyme with obviously unpopularity of Jammeh in our current phase.
Not
was it target to remove his legacy from the.
It's not popularity or otherwise of Jammeh. Jammeh and Jawara are not the same.
Okay, so Jawara deserved, but Jammeh doesn't.
They are not the same people.
Jawara deserved, but Jammeh doesn't. Not just because he's first president or founder, But because he is more appreciated by Gambians than
Not that. Not that.
Well,
by the virtue of his position in the building of the Gambia. Look, this
Well, that's the founding father.
That's what I am saying. Now, a
So
founding father is not just you or me.
Okay, all right.
It's not Jambe or Barrow.
All right.
If you can justify putting Barrow there, Jambe there, how can you not justify putting Barrow?
But Jawara removed. Yes, that's right. Jambe removed that of Jawara.
But Jambe and Barrow are not the same people. Jambe and Barrow are the same kind of president. They're presidents.
Yeah.
But Jawara is not
Jawara's
just a
role,
president.
yes, Jawara was also a founder.
This is a guy who played a role in taking Gambia to India.
Founding fathers.
I don't know.
You understand?
People,
Founding fathers.
whilst people agree about whose image should be on the money, I think when it comes to economy, people will say the timing. Is it right at a time when people are dealing with inflation and other economic...
That's another aspect of it.
Yeah.
Where you need... well, then, of course, these currencies are to replace. They are not printing.
They are to replace
It's not
the
a
old
500 note.
Of course, we know
It's
it
not a
costs
1,000
money to
note.
print
It
money.
costs money
Yeah.
to print.
It
But it's
costs
different from...
money to print.
It's different from... Because it's not a new $500 note. It's not a 1,000 note. It's just this one they are replacing. And they're scrapping, of course, the 25, which has always been there.
So they're just withdrawing it gradually. These new ones will be printed. It will be coming into the market, easing gradually, and the old one will be withdrawing gradually.
Maybe they just don't want
finally
to be,
get rid of
they just
all
don't
the
want to be,
faces.
they just don't want to be caught
We
up
can
in
begin to have
any
other
argument.
faces there if we want. I mean, Gambia has, and this country doesn't have shortage of people who served with this, have with distinction.
Well, we have to wait, of course.
And perhaps someday Jambe himself could.
Well,
be
we have
there.
to wait, of course, and see whether the quality of the notes themselves is any better than the ones we are using now, as they promised, because we haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, we've
We
not
have to
seen
see
them
that.
yet.
People are not happy.
For me, these are the issues. But to say that people's faces should not be there, that's an insult.
So the idea of putting birds and not human beings, you said, is a wrong idea.
Yeah, it's a wrong idea.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Maybe they don't want to
blame
be
them.
caught up with what we are
public
doing here.
opinion,
Public people saying it should be this.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Now,
that's,
let's move on. Unfortunately, there was another class bordering on caste system among the Sarahule communities. Just when will this stop? And
This is
sometimes I think, is this actually political? Because these things have existed. Since the Gambia was born, 1965, nobody have ever had it up to this point. Is it just this caste system, or something is firing it up, which could be political?
I don't think so. I think it's still, this is a very delicate issue. I've not so far
why now?
appreciated how people responded to it.
Yes.
I've seen even some prominent Sarahules going on Facebook to say this is bad, this is savagery, this is that, this is not how you respond to an issue of this nature. Look, this is culture. There are certain people who believes in these things. I agree, when someone hurts someone, that person needs to go to court. The person needs to be arrested and prosecuted. But when you are dealing with a caste, something as delicate as a caste system issue, you try to reorient people. Now, you don't change people's mindset by calling them savages and stuff, and especially when you are the responsible guy who should go and talk to them. This is a problem.
And that's what the government seems to be doing.
Now, this is what the government
Seem to
and
be
prominent people in the Sarahule community needs to do. You go and sit down both parties and try to reason with them. Try to consult them.
But have they
Try
not done that after the first
it
incident?
can never be enough. Try to engage them continuously. Try to talk to them. Perhaps the person you consider to be a savage may have even a brighter understanding of issues than you.
The problem is, let's go back to what is steering this now at this day and age, when 30 years ago, 400 years ago, it was never an issue.
It has always been an issue. I
But
think the
not to
problem
this
no,
point.
I don't think it's political.
No, it has always been an issue.
But
I mean,
then why was it not
in
important
Badibu where
at the time?
where I come from, not necessarily my village,
Yeah.
but couple of villages away from where I come from, an issue of this is there.
Well, we know it has existed.
So you have people who are saying some are Forolu and some are Jongolu, and we will not be in the same graves with them.
But that has never
Can
had
it be any worse than that?
That has never been any
No,
problem.
that
still
but
exists
there
in
has-
Badibu.
Of course.
Even in Badibu, it
Of
existed.
course. And
okay.
there has been a problem.
So perhaps Badibu
there has
gets
been
to-
a problem occasionally with it in the past, And you have had Supreme Islamic Council go there to talk to them, to reason with them. Use religion to address these issues. Use political leaders, opinion leaders to address these issues. Use prominent Sahrawi members to address these issues. There are no shortage of very prominent Sahrawi community leaders in this country. Take them to this place to go and talk. It's never enough. But when you go to Facebook or media to keep lambasting people you should be talking to,
so it just worsens the situation.
You just worsening the situation.
Now, 11 people have been arrested.
23 actually.
23. What are you going to do with them?
Just we're going to prosecute them. I mean, when you, of course, we all know that we cannot also condone impunity. When you go and burn someone's compound, that's another level altogether. In that case, you have now invited the state into your own matter, because it's become a criminal thing altogether.
So if common law cannot solve this problem, like get person who assaulted person arrested cannot solve the problem, what can solve it?
This is not a problem of the law. This is a problem of the society. And the society...
These are deep-rooted, like, traditional beliefs. So
look, I have had this problem with people who were advocating against FGM. They advocated against FGM. They have done their campaigns. They get a law banning it. Did they succeed in stopping it?
It went on.
Is it still not happening?
It went on like that.
It's still happening because this is not a problem of the law. This is a
problem of culture,
yes,
of the mentality.
And
but
it's here. So it's here. To fight it, you have to fight here.
Yeah, but
that's the problem.
But that's the problem now. How do you fight it? Because apparently people have run out of ideas. When the first incident happened, all kind of interventions were made.
Because they intervened in fire brigade.
No, but sensitizations were made.
No. They intervened in fire brigade way. They intervene in fire brigade way. You wait until there is fire and you go and put it out. So it's that's not how it's done.
So we are confined to live. In that case now, we are confined to live with this mentality forever.
No.
1,000 years of history cannot be wiped out one day. It has been said.
Yeah, but it can be wiped out in perhaps
How
2
can
years,
we wipe
3
it out?
years, 3 years, 4 years. We must not get tired. We must not be going to Facebook. We must be responsible.
To find out.
Yeah.
You see, it is very, very, very. It would be a terrible mistake to discount politics out of this. You know, it may not be in the surface.
Yeah.
But what after 2017 has given rise to this particular problem, which
because you have to also understand
for 50 years or
more. No, Cham.
So
you have to also look at
I have no evidence.
You have to also look at it from a very broader perspective. I've had some people in some corner trying to insinuate that because Batambedu and the other minister, Mr. Drame Asaraules, and they apparently they claim they are part of the Foros. And that
the free bonds,
the so-called free bonds, and that that is why they probably are not taking interest in this. But I think that's a little unfair. The problem is not whether someone in government or someone outside of government takes interest in this. The problem is that even whereas such people take interest in this, they have people who believe in the idea they are propagating. That's the problem.
But that's what politics does. That's what politicians do. Also.
That's what I am saying. Now, what do? You try to disinfect the people they've infected.
That's the problem. But the problem is, can you go to the bottom and say, what is the problem? Because look, I mean, Serahulis are known to be the most calmest and peaceful
but they've always
in this country. Now listen.
You know why this is happening, Cham?
From 2017
no,
to
it's
now.
happening because there is a revolution movement in Saraule community now.
Since when that started?
No, that is why it's becoming bolder. You don't know how much. You don't know what 2017 has brought for Gambia.
So definitely it has a political connotation.
No, it only means that people in the Saraule community, people who are at the wrong side of it, are now bolder to confront the issue.
Now listen,
such that they can put Gambana t-shirts, Gambana hats, meaning we are all equal shirts, we are all equal t-shirts.
Let's back to where you said now.
And go to the crowd and say, look, we are all equal. That is why we are having fight now.
Let's go back to where you
said. They were not bold before, now they are bold.
That's because of the political change.
But that's but I am telling you, because that's
so it's all part of the
democracy, and everyone is bold now. No one is no one's slave, man.
So in other words, what are you trying to say?
Yeah.
that in the past, there have always been a burning desire among those who were classified as inferior caste.
Yes.
It has always been their burning desire to liberate themselves from that mentality.
Absolutely.
And they seize on the change and the newborn democracy in the Gambia to express this.
That's my theory.
So this is what brings this conflict.
That's my theory.
All right. Then that's, I mean, perhaps we're getting to somewhere. We're trying to know now what's the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, and politicians are not casting into this. Like the people are seeing
because
themselves.
look, the problem is there is absolutely no political capital for either Barrow or Ba or Musa in this. What would it be?
I mean, the thing now is, why is it? You have just touched on the area. I mean, quite apart from that, the problem is that, I mean, that defied logic is why was it not happening until now?
I think that's where I've just answered. Right. That's yeah.
Okay, now finally,
now everyone's.
Nobody is.
Let's
my own master.
Let's hope that it will really that, because
Inshallah, I think it will.
It gives a very bad publicity to the Serahole. Serahole ethnic group, which is
I know a lot of people also who reacted to it did not do it well.
Because it's not only them, like you
calling
said,
people savages.
Like you said, the Badibu
is
not going to dispute.
Quelling a problem.
It exists in Badibu. It exists maybe in
Kiang.
And even in Mandingos, there's this Nyamala and
of course, it's not tougher.
Yes.
It's not tougher such that you would say, it's not practical to say you are my slave.
My slave or something like that. Why has it become so important now among the Sarahole communities is where the problem is. Yeah. Finally, gap. And I mean, as the name
the
indicates,
guy who has come to fill a gap in our politics.
As the name indicates, the politicians said there is a lot of gap in the political body, in our body politics.
Surely is feeling it.
Bachele came with his famous 90 days. This time he said he has evidence to some corruption that he would blow out if Mr. Barrow did not call all political parties to talk about the future of the country. And people have been asking him, why are you waiting for 90 days when you have something that you believe is a massive corruption? He said, of course, his initial reference to 90 days was misconstrued. He didn't say he can change the country in 90 days, but he will change institutions, etc., in 90 days. Now, when he spoke the last time, many people think he is not serious. The way he came out now, saying he has evidence of massive corruption, and wants the government or politicians to sit over the state of the government, where is he heading now? Is he being serious now?
I don't think Bachele is serious. Last time we had this program here, you said Ahmad Ba is a weird character, and I like to think Bachele is another weird one too. I don't think he understands what this presidency entails, because there is more to being president or wanting to be in politics than just, let me tell you something, or, you know, I mean, 90 days I'm going to solve something. I don't think he's really serious. Why do you even have to wait for 90 days to bring out things like that?
To be a whistleblower.
Yeah.
If you have evidence of, look, Lamin Cham, if you have evidence of public sector corruption, as a responsible citizen, you are obligated, whether Barrow brings you to the table or not, you are obligated, obligated to reveal it. That's the thing. Bakile is an influence peddler.
So is he looking for attention, or he's genuinely interested?
What I've just said, he's an influence peddler.
Basically. So he's looking for attention.
He wants a seat at the table, and that's what he's using.
So he wants to take, I mean, he just wants to be a stakeholder.
Well, I think apparently he has said it.
Are you really saying he just
you gave him the platform on the standard, and he told you he wants to sit at the table.
But he's a registered, he's a leader of a registered political party.
Of course.
So he has something to say. Whether you take his say or not, he has the right to be heard.
Of course, he absolutely has a and we've heard him well. Yeah. And I think he's an influence peddler. I think he wants to sit at the table.
He wants to be relevant. He wants to be taken as a serious political
I don't think he wants to be taking, you know, when you want to be taking as a serious political
he said on this man called all the political leaders. So what is he suggesting to now?
What's the point?
Barrow has nothing to do with even his own coalition now, let alone other political parties.
That's why I said he wants a seat at the table. If he has an evidence of public sector corruption, then he has a deeply national security issue, national interest issue that he is obligated as a Gambian citizen to expose.
So you
because
think
it's his job to expose that.
So you think he's
because corruptions ought to be exposed so that we fix them. But to use that corruption to blackmail the president to call a meeting, that's influence peddling.
Or is blackmailing the president?
Of course, if you are telling the president, do this or I will do that.
So,
that's the textbook definition of blackmail.
Your objective is not to work for the national interest, but
that's
to get
the textbook definition of
and blackmail the president.
Of course.
All right, that will do for us.
And before we go, I think we have to look at the Sidinjai versus GDC saga.
Oh, he is the one who engineered that war.
That was in our paper, but okay, it was fully addressed. Okay, Mr. Kande actually, I have Kande actually in among the topics that I didn't want to discuss.
Well, you didn't say it because you engineered the fight.
I thought maybe we are running out of time, but yes,
no.
Kande said, he was also in the media, he said to the Senegalese media that there could be security threats if Barrow doesn't step down after the 3 years. Much talk about 3 years. He wants ECOWAS to take notice. Before we get to what Sidi Njai made of that, what do you make of that? Are there real concerns that security...
Look, there are concerns, but I don't like the way Kande put it.
Was it more like someone inciting violence or what?
No,
there are concerns that I think what Gambians need right now is...
Well, you have said you are for 5 years anyway,
no,
so...
Yeah,
so
but
you
also...
You will not agree with Kande?
No. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with him. I'm not prejudiced to his position.
But
I'm not being prejudiced.
Yes.
What I'm trying to say is that Gambians need a very sober approach to national issues. Sometimes what you see here is overly partisanship, and it can ruin this country. I'm giving. Let me give you an example.
Now listen, what do you expect from an opposition politician?
No, but
an early election. Anything that will bring an early election.
No.
No, I mean
don't do so in manner that could risk the security situation of the country.
But
look, we all know.
We
know that Barrow is determined to go for 5.
Now let's look at this now. If Barrow is determined to go for 5 years, there is an equal force determined for him not to go. All right. So is Mr. Kande or Mr. Cham or Mustafa not justified to say that, look, I can foresee a security threat if these two forces
But we
meet?
all see that, and we all say it.
So
we all say it here.
So he should not say it.
And we are not saying he shouldn't say it.
Yes.
We are not saying he shouldn't say it.
So what is wrong with his saying?
The way he said it.
No, the way he said it.
The way he said it suggested.
No, he said, listen, he said ECOWAS, who have invested a lot in keeping the peace and maintaining it here, should take note that if Barrow doesn't step down after 3 years, there is likely to be a security threat. You said he's not right in that.
No,
because
I am not saying the content of his statement.
Every day you read and see people who are determined
to say
to come out in December. They said it in public that they will come in December and make sure that their voices are heard. You have seen Barrow aides, Barrow militants who are saying that we're not going to listen to 3, it's going to be 5 years. If these two forces meet in December...
Now the problem is the problem is for political leaders who represent population. It is important that this thing is negotiated, it's managed by them. Kande has a stake in that process.
Was Sidi Njai right then to say Kande is threatening?
I don't talk about Sidi Njai. I don't.
Well, he was the first person who came out and said, no matter what you think of him, Kande probably will threaten the peace.
Sidi and Kande are not the same people. Kande is a responsible political leader.
Sidi is not.
Look, let's not talk about Sidi Njai.
Don't underestimate the guy. He's winning this game.
Sidi was a former information minister. He was public enemy to some people.
Sidi is not a responsible...
he was a hero for some time for some people. For some people, he's a non-entity. For some people, he was a non-entity.
Sidi was never a hero for anybody. And, we all know how Sidi can be sometimes. Sidi is a highly irresponsible
Anyway, the UDP have given me a fitting reply. But what do you make of commentators? Okay, forget about Sidi. What is Sidi was people think about Kande's comments?
So I think what Kande needs to do, and all political leaders, is to sit down and reason with their political supporters. Because who wins when when opposition supporters come out, or coalition supporters come out, and Barrow's own supporters come out? December, and we have a clash.
Now, what is the solution to this?
And
what is the solution?
We have a national security
What is the
crisis.
solution now?
What happens?
Yeah, what is
Everyone
the solution?
suffers.
What do you think is
now
the
solution is all the political leaders in opposition to look at what is reasonable.
Yeah.
And what is reasonable under our circumstances. You see, we need to approach national issues with a very sober mind.
Yeah.
When we approach national issues with anger,
but what,
look, the point is...
What is the point in getting the political people together in the absence of Mr. Barrow, who
we
matters?
Need a concession here,
no, Mr. Barrow, who matters?
No, it's not Mr. Barrow who matters.
No,
here.
Mr. Barrow matters.
We need a concession.
Yes, the opposition political
No,
parties.
we need a concession.
Yes.
There are two things here.
Yeah.
We stop for 3 and we stop for 5.
Yes.
These are the two issues.
Which Mr. Barrow is Mr. Barrow is against?
No, now wait. No.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, now even when Mr. Barrow is
both of which Mr. Barrow is against.
Okay, but Gambians don't have. We have something to do at 5.
Well, listen.
It's up to Gambians to let him.
It's up to Gambians to decide.
That's right. That's 5.
Yes.
So as far as you are concerned,
the problem is at 3.
As far as you are concerned, Gambians are powerless when it comes to 3.
No,
it was a question of morality. Mr. Barrow said.
I am not saying that. I am saying, of course, the Constitution says 5 years.
Yes.
But the point also is, what is reasonable? Is it going to risking the national security issue over 3 years when we are only two years short of the election, or going to out to the street? We have two young people on the street clash.
The 3 years came
descend into a security situation.
Well, that is what every sitting
government. Risk going back.
That is the excuse every sitting government wanting to entrench himself in power will say. That's what Jammeh always say. I will not compromise security. Yeah. Not just because he wants the security of the state, but his own security.
Of course.
Because he found his policy. When people found his policies unpopular, he will threaten that security will not be compromised. I'm saying the 3 years came under a context. That the context is he's not going to run subsequent one immediately, the one that immediately followed. Now, if the incumbent is saying, I'm not going to take these 3 years, and I'm not going to take even after 5 years, you have nothing to do with my ambition to become president. Who brought the problem?
Look, Barrow brought the problem, and the responsible thing for Barrow to do is to resign. But I am saying that's the ideal situation. But the ideal situation here is not achievable.
Then now failure to do that and failure to consult the people who matters and failure to address the nation on your desire to
it's Barrow's fault. But I'm not saying
is that not all precipitate or disagreements?
Absolutely. But I am saying for responsible opposition leaders. Now Barrow has gone Barrow has a problem.
Yeah. Is now, not a fundamental
Barrow is part of our problem to deal with in itself. Okay. So now, but I am saying now, the political leaders on the other side have 2 problems. They have their own support base to deal with. They have Barrow, who is also a problem to deal with. Now, Barrow created the problem. Barrow is the problem. We have to deal with Barrow.
Yes.
But we cannot also, in the process of dealing with Barrow, risk going into something else. So that is why the reasonable and responsible thing to do is to prepare the ground and stop Barrow at 5. Let's put a block there. Okay. Now that is
how do we do that?
That is what responsible political leaders should do. Now organize themselves. If they don't think Barrow is the right guy to lead this country to success, they put him a stop to his rule at 5.
What is that? Another coalition?
Whether that's coalition or not, that's their problem.
Mustafa,
but for me, stopping at 3 years when we are having all these issues,
Mustafa,
the CRC, the CRC,
if you see if you see a problem growing and you leave it until it generates into a monstrous Preston, would you be able to do anything without?
We will. I think there is that fear. Look,
if Mr.
Charm.
Barrow, if according
Charm.
to I'm taking according to a political analyst,
Yeah.
if Mr. Barrow is left to grow up to 5 years, and he grew feathers, manipulate the elections and rig the elections and get himself into power, that will generate more disillusionment, more disenchantment, more recipe for violence. So the best thing Mr. Barrow, according to political analysts, could do is to engage. Even these 3 years, he can still survive it if he takes the right approach, according to some analysts.
But Barrow we said that here several times. We said we are all suffering this because Barrow is arrogant.
Okay, and that is eating the humble pie, come back to all the stakeholders, said, all right, we started together, mistakes were done, I have come to the point that I didn't want to wish any problem in this country. Now I have taken the ample pie, I'm consulting you on these 3 years. I want reasonably 5 years. And then he get everybody on board, everybody goes to sleep and wait for 5 years. In that case, they will tell you, okay, whether or not you want to go for 5 is left to you. When we reach 5, people will decide your fate. And then everybody's happy. But we said 5, you must go down. No, I'm not going to consult you. I'm going to run on my own. That's what brought all this problem, antagonism. So I think, principally, Mr. Barrow holds the solution to this problem.
Yeah, but
and nobody else can do it more
the
effectively than him.
Also, the
Anyway.
people who are against him needs to also act. They are stakeholders in this process.
It will be difficult.
Well, it would be difficult,
It
but
can be
they
difficult
can't
to
do
do
it.
anything without Mr. Barrow's participation and goodwill and good faith. It will be difficult. Anyway.
That's right. We'll now go with our first break. So this time around, we did a little vox pop to see how people, tailors to be specific, are preparing for upcoming Eid celebrations. Let's take a look at that and we'll be right back.
Assalamualaikum mbokk yi ñu leen a nuyu di leen welcome ci another segment of the brunch box pop bi tey nag moom ñëpp xam nañ ne si weeri koor lañ nekk te mu ngi waaj a jeex ñu ngi dugg si julli bi and ñawkat yi time bi moom dañ di xat torop ñeneen dañ di nekk si push and pull ak customers yi ñeneen ñi moom dañ di mën a satisfy seen customers yi ñëpp dañ di mën a sol seen bay waaye dafa am ñoo xamante dañ di am disappointment tey nag ñu ngi génn dem waxtaan ak ñawkat yi seet lan lañ xelaat ak lan lañ ñoo mën a wax si julli bi nii so toppal leen ma bu leen dem fenn ngeen déglu. asalaamaaleykum.
maaleykum salaam.
naa def.
maa ngi sant yàlla.
yaa tudd naka.
man maay Serigne Fallou Bey.
ok yaa moom place bi.
waaw sama place maa ko moom.
ok place bi naka la tudd.
Serigne Fallou Couture.
ok yow yan façon ñëw nga dee def.
dama lay ñëw yu góor dama lay ñëw yu jigéen yëpp ñëw laa la ñëw.
so naka nga nekk di waajalee julli bi.
julli gi sant yàlla rek. comme bi ñu commencé koor gi si bisimilahi rahmaani rahim di ñaan yàlla àggale ko si alhamdulilahi rabbil alamin lépp a ngi dox ñoo ngi am wér yàlla ñu may wér ñoo ngi jël ñëw customer yi ñoo ngi koy ñëw si jàmm ñëw yaa ngi dem ñoo ngi sant yàlla quoi.
naka nga def ak client yi mbaa ñoom ñëpp seen ñëw bi ne pare.
non dëgg-dëgg client amuñu benn problème ñëw nañ on time seen ñëw yi tamit pare na on time waaw dañoo teel a ñëw man bi ñu commencé koor gi ba léegi every day maa ngi wàcc 1 2 3 every day ñu commencé koor gi ba léegi amuñu fii benn ñëw boo xam ne duñu leen lépp na pare incha allah.
mbaa da ngeen di nelaw kon.
waaw nelaw bi duñu nelaw tout moñ nag mais xam nga rek soo amee ay costum ñu yaakaar si yow bàyyi ay ateliers yu bëri indi la ay ñëw soo il faut nga def dara pour seen ñëw yi mën a pare looloo tax ñu dañoo jël suñu lépp bàyyi suñu nelaw ak suñu lal ak yëpp nekk si atelier bi ba guddi xale yi jigéen yi ñëpp ay liggéey bon ngir bëgg ñëw yëpp jeex bu ñëwee jeexee ba ñëpp jot seen ñëw dan après ñu noppalu ñu ko dox rek quoi.
lan mooy location bi fii ku bëgg a ñëw fii fan.
soo bëggee ñëw fii yomb na su fekkee ne yaa ngi jógee Bakaw soo ñëwee bi foo ngay agsi Johnson Mosquée waa Dramé ñu ngi gis Sëñ Fallou Couture bu fekkee da nga jógee biir Serekunda di ñëw soo rombee Johnson Mosquée waa Dramé sa right ni nga gis Sëñ Fallou Couture soo ñëwee loo bëgg ñëwal la ko fii dañuy ñëw dawme design simple loo bëgg rek boo ñëwee bu soobee yàlla ñu la ko ñëwal incha allah.
mbaa seerut rek.
non dara seer fii lépp waxtaan ba juba rek la lépp waxtaan ba juba rek la dara seer fii.
ok loo bëgg a wax ñu laa seetaan.
non susuma sama mbokku tey li may wax sama mbokku tey laa ko wax nañu gën a góorgóorlu si ñëw yi quoi xam ne yaakaar dafa diis képp koo gis mu jógee këram rek romb na ñëw kat ñëw si yow yaakaar la kon na nga góorgóorlu ñëw yi pare te xam naa ne gars yi ay jàmbaar lañ man xam naa ne gars yi nañ ñëw lépp mais tamit koo xam ne dem nga ba bis bi sa ñëw parewut nga bañ a mer xam ne noonu la ko suñu borom dogalee parce que suñu borom moo dogal ne lépp mënut a sottandoo soo gisee ñu nekk ci atelier yi di ñëw guddeeg bëccëg nekkul xaalis moo tax mais dañoo bëgg client yëpp kontaan dina am ñoo xam ne nag yàlla mooy dogal ne seen ñëw yi du mën a pare ñu comprendre ko loolu bañ ci xuloo bañ ci xeex bañ ci ŋaayoo te tamit bu mu tax tamit nga bàyyi sa ñawkat ki lay ñëwoon chaque jour soo ñëwee ren mu ñëw bi tardé na nga ko comprendre xam ne loolu la yàlla dogal quoi nga bañ koo mere bañ koo indil benn wax xam ne lii la yàlla dogal rek mais ñawkat yëpp ay jàmbaar lañ nag parce que atelier boo romb guddi gaa yaa ngi liggéey guddi ak bëccëg yaa ngi dégg man mii fi ñu toll nii may xew nii su fi yemoon mu neex xaalis taxatul may liggéey damay góorgóorlu pour sama client di kontaan macha allah
to mu babu walde bar mo jama ka fane karamba jasi nga musu bayol karale nga ke bayol karale ye kararo sifa dal nga karale ye asenye ano nyabe client no se kontaan kay ye nga gele nga na lebu bestre la product client no dal e kontaan client no ni na ran ka négocier le nyaka cha nice yalo ne mo na rakam fala yalo ya tra ya ju sosmandi yalo no because business olem dala ma easy dol kala fala nyama ni de kamera nyami mangi client yeah client no alhamdulillah dole understanding so dole no mo do o manke ngani yote na pour dole ko bo nak ya to mo ben dal dol fana ben na level best track because nga suuda nya jale ge yes so ya jale momo kala fele salunga e tara kontante yalla nan no bañum 3549870 wala mun na lay noti Dibakunda ni momo frère Dibakunda ko nana Johnson rek Johnson mi jide kata juma maraka so Dibakunda ko no before fita garage so after fita garage so ye karamba ja silata le ni ngara ke ba jalal inshallah min ben jibe kam bi advice la funding ke le dungi ta mete karang wala because mejo is good mol kana mejo bula lundangol bul ya ron so ndol fana se fenti nyantaro dogu yes because mejo fana nyaajale dal chain ako ku jamal si molale because nela bo san mi en karande mejo la matar ba Senegal le mbota ku ba ga gambe jan mi yalon ko ni fotata ko dato mashallah so sa tra en defana be wosim fal no maga pour sa so do no yaaje don dan baga al na do nyame so do ko alama yiru wala alama ala yal so sima e bani jare ken jani haraje film wala ye min fana en karande mejo la mangene la dal mbebe kon don be jeyla ya okay ngondan ta baga billahi.
Welcome back from that short break. We will now go straight with our special guest today in the studio. And of course, we have our Ba, who is the records supervisor of the SSR, and Mr. Omar Sonko, who is also the PRO. Guys, SSR? Security sector reform. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. So what are we looking at here? Are we downsizing or what?
What's SSR about?
Thank you very much for giving us the floor. We really appreciate it. When we talk about SSR, people always have that misperception that people are about to downsize the army or any other security sector. But that is just a wrong notion that is going on. Security sector reform is about how government reform its security in order to serve the best interests of its citizens.
Okay. Allah?
Okay. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sadio, thank you for having us here. Just as he said, whenever you said security sector reform, what people are thinking, or what is the perspective or the notion behind this thing? It's not about downsizing the security sector. We said reform. We are not saying reduce, we say reform. So reform in a sense that we want to train our people, enlighten them, as the new dispensation called for. This is what is the motive of the security sector reform, but not actually downsizing the security institutions or departments. Yeah.
Let me ask a question. In that reform, I mean, what brought about the need for reform is that the security forces had a very bad reputation over the last 22 years. Most of the alleged human rights abuses were perpetrated by securities. And I think the security reform was, like you said, to orient them to work in tandem with the Constitution and to protect the liberty of the citizens. Among them. But didn't it also involve, because we have had President Barrow once said that as part of the security policy, they will have to find funds with which they will part it brush the hands of the people who are supposed to live. Are you categorically saying that the reforms are not going to include at least getting rid of some members of the security?
Yes, I would like to come on
Yes.
to that.
Yeah.
This reform is still on the process. We need to give the justice system also take its due, rather than just removing people in positions like that. There are these constitutional.
I'm not talking about those who might have been mentioned by it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, isn't it part of the security reforms to reduce the size of the security forces, as it were, because there are concerns that because of the overloaded nature of it, that makes it difficult to get them to be professional. So is it are you categorically telling us that redundancies are not part of it?
Okay, I will step in. To that aspect, I don't think that will happen, because if you say because of the size, you look at the security of this country, we are not up to that level that we said, okay, the security is too much that, the responsibilities are not being taken.
Yeah, the last time we had an expert who said a lot of money has been spent.
Yeah.
$750 million has been spent. Now, if the civil service, like the teachers and the nurses and other civil service, are said to be over, I mean, we have a lot of staff, and they're thinking of at least getting it down a little bit, shouldn't the same be done with the security forces?
I think that in that case, there is no clear indicators that are being there. Because if you said a lot of money is being spent in the security sector, whereas those at the grassroots level are still suffering. Like, I can give you an example of the fire service where they contribute their own welfare issues.
Yes.
Whenever they go out for fire outbreak, people are being seriously injured. We pay each month $250 to cater for our welfare, whilst the government is not doing that. If you tell us government is putting too much of money in the security, still now it's also another thing to us, because
so perhaps that tells you
on that money is not clear to the security.
Yeah. And then perhaps this is more applicable to the army, because that's what our experts said, that they're paying $750 million to maintain the army.
Yes, it could be, because the army, if you look at their strength, it's going up to 6,000 plus. Whereas the prison
I hope you are not revealing security. I hope you are not revealing security secrets. Now you're telling what the size of the army is 6,000.
No. This is
the SSR report, the SSR assessment report. It went up to 6,000 plus.
Is the reforms not going to think? It doesn't have a program along the lines of cutting it down, downsizing it.
Yeah, this is why I was coming to. Because when you say security sector reform, I don't think it's only the security institutions that we are talking of, because they are oversight bodies. And among the security sector, there are categories in this security sector. You have the gender SSR, that's the gender responsive SSR. You have the security sector reform governance, and you have people also who are responsible for the drafting of the strategy and the policies. Okay, as my capacity here, because I had Sayo saying that the PRO, I'm not the PRO for the security SSR, but I'm the PRO for the coordinating committee for the gender security sector reform. Okay, I think that needs to be clear first. Okay, and another thing is, when you talk of downsizing, when it comes to gender and security sector reform, we are not thinking about downsizing the sector now. Instead, what we need right now, we trying to build the capacity of the officers and see how to mainstream gender in the security sector. That's why it came to. Because when we have a training of officers at 3 stages, we have the basic, the intermediate, and the advanced level. As I'm talking now, we just completed the intermediate. The advanced, the basic was sometimes last year, so we just completed the intermediate. But during this time, we said, okay, because the UNDP and UNAIDS are the people sponsoring the program. So, but at our capacity and as a good citizen of this nation, after completing the intermediate training, we also sat within ourselves and said, what can we do for our nation? Because these are people outside who are sponsoring this program. So during the process, then we came up with idea that let us form a committee. After the training, at least we will go around, talk to people, disseminate the information to people who were not privileged or opportune to be part of the training. So we came up with this committee. We name it as the Coordinating Committee for the Gender Response. Yes. So that's why this thing came up. So after the government buy the idea, plus through the ONS, that's the Office of the National Security Advisor. So they buy the idea. So we came up with this and that we want to embark on a caravan tour nationwide. So as I'm talking, I think on the 30th, we launched this caravan at the Yundum Barras, where dignitaries attended it. And the proposed date for the caravan to take off will be on the 25th of June. So this is what we are coming to.
But that caravan was meant to ensure gender mainstreaming in the security
sector. Yes.
In the security sector.
Yes.
That means all the security sector.
Yes.
But don't we, can somebody argue that we already have a lot of women in our various situations, but there's still room for improvement.
Yeah, when you say we have a lot of women in the security sector, yes, we have, but not like the men. Okay, like if you go to GAV, I will tell you, because GAV is like, they have 6,838 personnel.
Wow.
So, yeah,
6,838 personnel.
Yeah, according to the report, the assess
2016.
The security assessment report. Yeah, this is 2017.
How many of them are men?
Okay, we have about 2,556. Yes.
91% of them are
men, and 13%. Yes, 13% of them are women, which means we have only 3,000.
Is this because more men choose to become soldiers, or women have been torn down?
You know, before I can say the army was
exclusively men.
It was no-go area for the women, I can say.
Why
was it because they don't choose to become soldiers, or they were not?
Awareness of security at that time and now they fast. But before we have more men in the security than women. It's just now that people have been started coming into the security. And then if you look at our educational background in the security, men are far ahead of the women too. Because I can give an example, right? Such departments where we have male graduates, we are too much than females graduates within the security. Some of the security.
So what do you hope
still to add more weight to that, I would not say female were not choosing to be, because if you go to the selection criteria of the security, I don't think there is a column that male are qualified or male are qualified, because this is a culture within the community. It's a general problem. It's a culture, because there are assignments or let's say rules ascribed to a particular gender set. Okay, because the notion is, in those days, we all know we are from societies and communities. You go there, they say this work is for women or this work is for men. Yeah, but what we are advocating for, we want to bring everybody on board, irrespective of your status being a male or female. We want, especially women, because most of our advocates concentrate on women. We want them to take up the challenge, come on board, take up responsibilities, and so especially at the decision-making stages. I think this is the main, is a key word that we will be carrying alongside the caravan, so that women will come and take up responsibilities and join the security sector. Okay, coming to what you said earlier, that we have more female than male. Just to tell you that all the security institutions that we have more male than female. Yes. And the ratio in other institutions like immigration, even my department, prisons, the prison is 50 almost. Even my own department, because I'm from the Drug Law Enforcement Agency.
So that's the best.
Yeah, I'm from the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, because we are about 501 personnel. So among them, you have only you have 19% of female. The rest is all men. So, but is challenging, to be frank, but I think over time,
so
they will come.
This caravan intends to raise awareness among women to promote more women opting to join the security services, or those who are there to be given decision-making roles or positions?
No, not actually to join the service, but it's like, because if you look at the target audience that we have, because we were going for 8 days. And this 8 days, we want to, the target audience is about 25,000 participants across the country. That's our target. But among them, we want to target the security institution, the local government authorities, border posts, community members, and in short, just to them, because as I said, when we say security sector reform, it's not only about security. We have oversight bodies. Because as I'm talking, the chairman, the chairperson for the coordinating team, she's a female and she's from Women's Bureau. And when we talk of women in this country, you know, Women's Bureau are the champions. So this is why we want to bring everybody on board, not actually to join the security, but to see themselves that they are part of the whole process. Yeah. So this is the main purpose for the caravan. Yeah.
So the caravan aside, for me the most interesting thing is about the sector, the security sector reform in itself. I mean, what do you seek to achieve?
Okay, I would like to come to that. Since there was an SSR report that was given, and in that SSR report they come up with a recommendation in order to fill those gaps within the security sector. So we later find out that there is no framework that can guide the actions of the security service. So there we deem it necessary to come up with a national security policies that can at least guide the actions of the security personnel and also cater for gender issues within the security departments. So now that NSP is already completed and now waiting for launching, which is scheduled for on the 10th of June.
So, but what do you mean by guiding the securities? The security, is that also part of the reform process? You mean the policy to determine?
A policy is developed, national policy, that combines all the security, that entails all the security institutions within the Gambia. And there is a procedure that can at least, because we also deem it necessary to come up with these national institutional policies. Because when we go around to check on this institution, we find out that there were no policies, or even the ones that have policies, they were poorly implemented. So we deem it necessary first to come up with the national security policy. After that national security policy, we can come up with an institutional policy. And that institutional policy will also link with the national security policy. And then we come up again, the last 2 weeks, that was the commencement of the drafters for the development of the SSRS and then the National Security Strategy. These two documents help us to implement our policies and programs within our departments.
So these policies, institutional policies, will sort of determine what the institution is about, what its boundary is, what its mandates are, what it can do and what it can't do. Say every institution, say army, police, immigration.
It's still in the process.
I will come in that. Well, I think when you say policy in an institution, it's just a guiding tool that governs every staff or employee in a particular institution. Okay, that policy that we are talking about, we don't just want to preempt what they are doing because it's in a process and it's yet to be launched. The national security policy. So all the institutional policies are at hold now, because it's like the national security policy is the mother of all the policies in the institution. So if that policy is launched, then after the institutions will drive their mandate from the main policy. Yes.
So that's the process. So you start from there, then you go into looking at the various issues within the security.
Yes.
And then we also established the Office of National Security to serve as the steering, how to call it?
They will be the implementers.
The secretariat to the National Security Council. We always coordinate
the National Security, which comprises of the Vice President and blah 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 and all the security services. Okay. So,
not
but
all, because most of them were not.
Like the immigration.
But in this new constitutional review commission,
They are advocating for them to be there.
Yeah.
For them to be there.
Yeah.
They are
All the
advocating,
security
but
to
they
be
are
there.
not there yet.
If you look at GAF, SIS, and the vice president and all that stuff, they
Ah,
are part of it. But
yeah.
you look at the fire service,
We are not-
immigration, we are
They are
not
not there.
represented
They are
at
not
the
in the
council
national
level.
security.
The next one they will
Now
be
we
there. Sure.
deem it necessary to at least involve, because you cannot talk on my behalf whilst you don't know
They
what
are
I
not
feel.
there.
I mean, when you're talking of national security sector reform in this country, I mean, everybody talks about why you even need this. In other words, what is the trigger? Why do we think we need to reform the security sector? And when people think about that, sometimes they think that this is happening because certain wrongs have happened in this country. And perhaps this is a process of correcting that. Are you also looking at it in that light?
Yes, we are looking in that line because just like we are having the same lens with the community, because we went up to a stage. We all know what happened here in the last 22 years. We went up to a stage that there is no trust between the police or the security and the civilians, especially when it comes to the political impasse. We have been seeing people talking, about the security, So it's like we want to bring that cordial between the civil society and the security, not about downsizing also, because as you can see in our gender response, one of our objectives is to build a robust civil security relation through capacity building of the security sector on gender, and even we even want to exceed by involving HIV and AIDS in mainstreaming and raising awareness on the security sector reform. Because these are some of the things. Because when you say gender, it is broad. And when you say mainstreaming gender in the security sector, you also need mechanisms that will not even also affect the women at work. That's why we have gender-based violence that we want to incorporate in all these things so that it will go. The information, we want it to be well disseminated, because in as much as we want women to take up responsibility and be part of the developments and other things, we don't also want them to be harassed at workplace. That's why it will go along with gender-based violence and other stuff, so that the working environment will be conducive for everyone. So this is what we are working on right now. Yes.
So we've kept you people for too long, but perhaps I would want to ask two questions. One is that I know you've currently now the chair the committee that has been
the coordinating committee for gender SSR.
No, not the gender SSR, the main
The main SSR.
Yeah.
It's now Batambedu, right? The chair of the steering committee.
Yes, he is.
So I think you have a policy document now that's also guide the national security sector reform, or that's the one that's been developed.
That's the launching will be on the 10th, I think.
June,
10th, yeah.
10th June.
Yeah.
And that's what will spell out things that ought to be done.
That will be done.
Things that ought to be done.
Yeah.
No, the SSRS is what will show what should be done on the NSP.
Okay.
What is
It's
the
a-
We don't know these
National
acronyms.
security
Policy. National
implementation is being determined by the SSRS, National Security Strategy.
Policy.
So what do we have right now? What stage are we?
What has happened before? Or that leads us to at what stage are we now?
What we have now is the National Security Policy.
Yeah, that's why I say we don't want. Cham, no, let me come in. I know where you're going to.
What we want to enlighten ourselves and the viewers around the world is that whenever you talk about security, we say, what have they done yet? Have we seen anything? Now, what we want to know is, we are at a stage that we are about to launch a policy that will guide what should be done. What has happened since the security reform started, and what stage are we now?
Okay, let me come in, because we have some achievement registered so far since the inception of the SSR project. Okay, this includes the completion of the comprehensive security sector reform assessment. We have completed that.
That was an assessment.
Yeah, that was an assessment. That led to
But there was an assessment that is to check who is doing who
I think just
And
to
start with audits, isn't it?
yeah, if you you know here
The assessment include audits and all those ones.
yeah, this is what I'm saying because even this security sector reform we're talking of is because of the assessment that leads us to reform. Because after the assessment, the outcome is that the security needs this.
So there
A, B, and C. Yeah, the assessment was on, and the establishment and capacitization of officers of the national security officers was also done. Yes, yes. ONS, partially still waiting for legislative act and the framework to be completed. Okay, other one is finalization of the draft national security policy. That's why I say we don't want to preempt, because this is the draft national security. And the other one is the establishment of a framework for coordination of the SSR process in the country. So these are the stages that we are. As we come back to what he said, you know, 22 years is not 22 days. And this thing we know that there was no peaceful transfer of power. And this thing is a stage and it's a process.
It's going to take a process.
Because we started, even the assessment was in 2017. We are in 18 and 19, just 2 years. And if you see it's a long process. So this is the problem now. But so far, these are the things that have been achieved yet. And one thing I will also add is like, when we talk of achievement, the gender responsive, we have done we've done the basic, the intermediate, and the advances can be anytime sooner. So and in fact, we have even launched the caravan at the national level. We launched the caravan already. We only because we are in the Ramadan, we cannot implement it in the Ramadan. But we want to make it as soon as possible, because we also fast approaching the rainy season. So, you know, to have this target audience also will be a problem. But if you could have them before the rainy season start, that's why, because it was scheduled to be 12 days. But during the review of the concept note, because we also built a concept note, so this is where we cut down the days to 8, so that, you know, it can be, you know, at a,
It's going to take a process. Thank you very much, guys, for coming to our studio. Of course, our bar and Omar Sonko. Thank you very much for granting us this interview. Well, we will now go with our entrepreneur segment, where, of course, we profile Gambian businesses. And this week, we feature one Ibrahim Kebe, who is an artist and an expert in basket weaving. Let's take a look at that, and we'll be right back.
Aleykum salaam wa rahmatullah. Man naa la wax ne maa ngi tudd Ibu Kebe ñii ma wax Ibrahima Kebe ñii dama ooyee Paa bu ñaaw bëgg xaalis. pañe moom li ma cee liggéey kar sakkan na modèle yi ma dee liggéey sakkan na am na pañe pour palaale am na pañe pour seet am na pañe pour def yére ci biir néeg bi am na pañe pour même ñi ne ci géej bi sax dafa dañ dee ñëw fi da jënd ay pañe da ci def langos di ko jàppee langos yu ndaw yi tànn yu mag yi jaay foofu yu ndaw yi def ko ci pañe bi tekk ko sóobaal ko ci géej gi su ko defee du mën a dem ci biir pañe bi laa dund ay 2 weeks 3 weeks ñu génnee ko di ko jaay yoo xam ne pour mu ngi mel ni butéel bu ndaw néegi picc la boo demee ci gaa yi am kattan dañ ko day jënd takk ko ci kaw garab yi muy yendaantalu picc yi de ci loolu dëkk ba defa nen business bi daal bi mu koy jàng dafa ne caaxaan laa ko defoon po time boobu ca six yi la am ay yu ko doon liggéey ma daan dem ci ñoom di toog di waxtaan ak ñoom léegi su ma demee ci ñoom toog waxtaan ak ñoom caaxaan tuuti liggéey rabu peñe tuuti léegoo-léeg mu baax léegoo-léeg ma sànni lii daal eti woon ba léegi lii mooy sama métier fii jafe-jafe yi fee am daal bëri na bëriwul because premier bi nga xam ne mooy suñu jafe-jafe mooy nguur gu fi béy ko bu yàggul moo ko indi because fii dañ fa amoon ay mbaar te dugal suñu bagaas yi biit bu tawee ñu noppalu léegi nag kooku bañ ko génne na ko kii nag toog na te amaguñ benn risol boo xam ne mën nañoo tax ñu def mbaar wala ay nañu pour ñu def mbaar ci pegg yoon wi boobu moom premier jafe-jafe boobu la ndaxte peñe lu mu bëri bu buggee ne bu newetee ñi nga li ay pale laa jël ci laa koy teg mur ko ay nayloon takk ko ñibi sibi bi moom tey loo boo buggee sibi xam nañu koy jaay bu njëkk nag métti xawoon naa jafe ndaxte amu doon jaaykat ci dëkk bi da ngay dem Gunjur jënd ko ci àll bi waaye léegi nag fi mu nekk am na ñuy dem jënd ko ay fukki say ñaar fukki say ba téeméeri say indi ko di ko jaay fii nii man kenn dong ak yàlla ñoo fi nekk ñi fa nekk ki fi nekk xale bu baax la yu am yar yu am teggin waaye nag léegi ñoo man dafi na li fii daal li nga xam ne ñoo koy jënd fi mu nekk jamono bu ñu toll nii bu weeru koor bi jotee am na benn hôtel yu kii banque yuy ñëw jaay ma ñaar fukki pañe jënd ma fanweer yooyu ñu ngi koy jënd ñoom itam def ci ay bagage comme ça yi nga dégg ñu naan pañe dox daje yi rek am na it ñu am yéenaay yekkal sa goro di ki jënd pañe dem def ci ay bagage wala sa njëkke jox ko waaye bu dul loolu moom pañe yi xale yi ñoo cee gën a gis seen bopp pañe yu ndaw yi ci kanam ne la bu tuuti boobu am handul bi xale yi dem school grade 9 grade 10 ñëpp dañ koy jënd da ko def arts and craft sama gis-gis loolu nag moom laa tax ma ne su ma ko mënoon danaa am xale yu ko jàng wala government bi waroon na jéem a ubbi def ko dugal ko ci éducation bi ci école bi ñu jàng ko ndaxte suturaan ci de defe na li kere ba awane rek boo ne kere ba awane jéemaat mooy biti bu rëy bi boo ne Africell bala ngaa ga Africell boo bàyyee xel rek gis paje yi
very much there, Ibrahim Kebe. Let's support our Gambian businesses. Well, this now brings us to the end of this episode of The Brunch. Join us next week if you can. Thank you very much for watching, and bye for now.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Brusubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.